When's news time? 6:51. Let's get you where you need to go. Jeff Jensen.
Quite the slow ride in Brooklyn on the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway. There's an eastbound crash as you get over toward Flushing Avenue. At least one lane is blocked there, and there's slow traffic going back past the Brooklyn Bridge, so no fun there at all. And the other way around, there's westbound delays starting at Kent and Wythe Avenue, and stay heavy all the way down to the Brooklyn Bridge. Slow traffic in Queens, too. Heavy go on the southbound Cross Island Parkway as you make your way down toward the LIE. If you want to try the Clearview instead, you'd be much better off. Van Wyck's tied up, especially busy northbound from the Belt all the way up to Atlantic Avenue. And getting better in the Bronx, dealing with an accident on the Bruckner, which looks like it's just about cleared out of the way now at the Throgs Neck Expressway. Some slowdowns on the westbound Cross Bronx between the Bronx River Parkway and 3rd Avenue right now. And here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. About a 25-minute ride each way at the GWB. You've got the upper and lower levels about equally bad. The Deacon's really tied up northbound. And delay in New Jersey is awful off 46 and off of 95. The Route 4 approach is the best approach to the bridge. Palisades tied up too. 15 each way at the Lincoln. It's getting better. Not bad at the Holland out of the city. About 10 to 15 in at the Holland Tunnel. Jeff Jensen, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Now let's get into your official 1010 winds AccuWeather forecast. I hear more snow is on the way. Meteorologist John Ferry.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of snow. It seems like more of a nuisance than anything. Right now, obviously, temperatures above the freezing mark. So as this precipitation comes in here for the next few hours, it's going to be a mixture of rain and wet snow. But it should transition over to all snow during the overnight. But then as quickly as that occurs, it's moving on out. It's probably done by 4 or 5 in the morning. Right now, it's looking like a coating to as much as an inch for Manhattan, the Bronx areas to the north and west. A little bit more in a narrow area from central Jersey through Staten Island, Brooklyn, Queens, as well as along the South Shore of Long Island. We can see 1 to as much as 3 inches. Again, streets in the city, wet to slushy, but some slippery travel outside the city, at least more in the way of that. Down to 31 in Midtown, and then tomorrow clouds give way to some sunshine. Again, maybe some slippery spots in the morning, but we're up to 41 in the afternoon. And then partly sunny, warmer for Tuesday, up to 48. Some rain for Wednesday, by 43. Right now in Central Park, 37 and mostly cloudy. Going down to 31 in Midtown. I'm AccuWeather's Sean Fierick on New York's weather station, 1010 winds at 92.3 FM.
Public Enemy rapper Flavor Flav is in Cortina at the Milan Cortina Winter Olympics as the official hype man for Team USA's bobsleigh and skeleton team. Flav also promoted USA's water polo team in Paris 2 years ago. Flav has been seen at the track every session while in Italy.
Here I am now involved with 2 Olympic teams, the water polo team and the bobsled skeleton team. And it's just such an honor.
Go USA. The Independent Spirit Awards are underway. The ceremony started streaming at 5 this evening on YouTube. Peter Hujar Day leads with 5 nominations, including Best Picture. It's joined by Train Dreams, The Plague, Sorry Baby, and Twinless. We've already got some early winners, including Ava Victor's Sorry Baby. The writer, director, and actress took home Best Screenplay. Other winners, Erin Doherty for her performance in Adolescence, and Jason Momoa as Chief of War won Best TV Ensemble. SNL alum Ego Wodum is hosting. All right, now we are looking at 37 degrees under cloudy skies. Real feels put us at 34 degrees, but that's better than -20. A mix of rain and wet snow early on, becoming all snow, then ending before daybreak. A low tonight of 31. Winter news time, 6:56. Now, Bloomberg Money Watch.
Price cuts for some well-known snacks owned by PepsiCo.
They said that they would be cutting prices by up to 15% in some of its brands, including Lay's, Doritos, Cheetos, Ruffles, and Tostitos.
Christina Peterson wrote the story for Bloomberg News.
It is not broad-based, but they are definitely targeting popular, well-known brands.
Aimed at consumers who've been feeling the pinch.
They had specifically looked to target the cuts in brands where low and middle-income consumers were really struggling with the higher prices.
But will these price cuts result in smaller packages?
We have seen a lot of that coming out of the COVID pandemic. A lot of food companies have been playing around with the size of the packages. But in this instance, PepsiCo is very clear that the sizes will remain the same and the prices will get cheaper.
PepsiCo's announcement came ahead of the snack-intensive Super Bowl. I'm Charlie Pellet, Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Hey, Scott Shannon here with the greatest hits of the 60s and 70s, now available on my True Oldies channel. Just go to 92.3 FM HD3.
Powered by River Spring Living. WINS FM and HD1 New York.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
More people get their news from 1010 Wins than from any other radio station in the nation. Gary Souter at the editor's desk. I am Stephanie Officer.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM, New York.
Good evening. It's 37 degrees at 7 o'clock. I'm Bud Mishkin. Here's what's happening. We're looking at a little bit of snow tonight. We'll have AccuWeather in a minute. Perhaps a development today in the case of the missing 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, missing now for more than 2 weeks.
The sacred ground here represents courage, resiliency, the fight for equality.
Senator Schumer saying he'll introduce legislation aimed at making the rainbow flag a permanent part of the monument at Stonewall. Fatal gun violence in Laurelton, Queens, and a 31-year-old man is dead. And curling mania sweeps the world. Again. We'll explain. Sports, the NBA All-Star Game with a new format is going on right now. Winter Olympics continuing. Michaela Schifrin finishing off the podium in the giant slalom. Wins News Time 7:01. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Jeff Jensen.
Jammed at the GW. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. There's a car fire under the apartments. There are 2 lanes blocked coming off the upper level, 2 lanes blocked coming off the lower level. Diallo called us on the tip line to let me know because it is awful. About an hour delay now into both levels of the GWB coming off of 95, maybe a little bit better of 46. Not much, though. Palisades and Route 4 also all jammed up trying to get to the upper and lower levels of the bridge. Outbound, not bad, but at 20 or so, 15 to 20 off the Cross Bronx and the Major Deacon Expressway. Again, GW with a car fire. If you're headed into Midtown, try the Lincoln Tunnel. It's moving well. Downtown, try the Holland Tunnel. No issues there. Outbound, about a 15-minute wait at the Holland Tunnel. Slow to Brooklyn at the Brooklyn Bridge. That is just a slow go there. So try the Williamsburg and Manhattan Bridge instead. And we're tied up in Brooklyn on the BQE. There's an eastbound crash by Flushing Avenue taking at least 1 lane. Your delays are stretching all the way back to Atlantic Avenue. And that Portal Bridge project started today. So until mid-March, fewer trains and modified schedules for trains that use the Portal Bridge, including service into Penn Station. That's the big one, of course. NJ Transit will cross on it with PATH and New York Waterway ferries, but not tomorrow, and no trains diverted to Hoboken tomorrow because it's President's Day. Jeff Jensen, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
It's been a much warmer weekend than last weekend and the previous weekends, but some snow is on the way. We'll get the latest from AccuWeather's John Feerick.
Well, some snow moved through the area tonight. It's probably only going to last about 6 to 8 hours at most. It'll be mixed with rain at times, so that's going to keep the accumulation down. No more than a coating to an inch or so. Manhattan and the Bronx areas to the north and west. A little bit more central Jersey through Staten Island, Brooklyn, and Queens over into Long Island. We'll see probably on the order of 1 to as much as 3 inches of slushy accumulation. Some slippery spots out there through the night and into the morning commute tomorrow, but then some improvement as we head through the day tomorrow with highs into the low 40s.
And keep it locked here at 1010 Wins for the latest on the storm. There's some new information, potential new information, in the case of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, missing now for more than 2 weeks.
The FBI says a black glove found about 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's home appears to match the gloves worn by the suspect seen in video from Guthrie's doorbell camera. The agency says there is DNA evidence on the glove. It's been analyzed and is being confirmed after initial preliminary results. Searchers found the glove in a field by the side of a road. The search for Guthrie now in its 3rd week. Purported ransom notes were sent to news outlets, but 2 deadlines for paying have passed.
It's correspondent Peter King. Controversy continues to swirl over the Trump administration's removal of the pride flag at the Stonewall National Monument in the Village. The flag was part of the scenery at the Stonewall, the site of a police raid and an uprising in 1969 that helped propel the modern LGBTQ movement. The Trump administration recently took it down, stating that only U.S. flags or flags authorized by Congress can fly at sites run by the National Park Service. New York officials put the flag back up last Thursday. Senator Schumer was at the Stonewall today saying he will introduce legislation that would designate the pride flag as congressionally authorized.
The attempts to hurt New Yorkers and the LGBTQ plus community won't fly, but the Stonewall flag will always fly.
Trump administration has called the re-raising of the pride flag a political stunt and a distraction. Commuting from New Jersey to New York always requires patience. Over the next month, especially if you're a train commuter, it will require more. The century-old Portal Bridge over the Hackensack River is being phased out for a new Portal North Bridge over the Hackensack, and that will require a month of reduced rail service.
Here's how Haley sums up what the next 4 weeks will be like for NJ Transit commuters.
But I know that's going to be a mess.
Trains over the Portal Bridge will be cut in half as crews start to transition from old to new. Commuter Bernie Kelly says the new bridge is needed, but not the headaches in between.
They've done a good job of placing it. It's just a plan to switch is affecting the commuter.
CEO Chris Calori says they're trying to ease the pain.
Not only are our buses fully operational, including the additional buses we talked about, but we're also cross-honoring ferries, and we're also cross-honoring CAF.
Commuters will have to juggle their schedules for the next month in hopes of a smoother ride in the near future. Darius Ramsey is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM at Penn Station.
And as Jeff Jensen alluded to a few minutes ago, weekday Midtown direct trains on the Morris and Essex, Gladstone, and Montclair Boonton lines will be diverted to Hoboken, but on the weekend, Midtown direct trains will operate in and out of Penn Station. We're still more than a few months away from a great summer's day at Coney Island. That might include visiting the New York Aquarium, the Cyclone, the Brooklyn Cyclones, and Nathan's. The mayor was at Coney Island today, specifically at Dino's Wonder Wheel, to announce a $1 million first-year operating budget for a new business improvement district on Coney Island. Talking about Coney Island beyond the summer.
While seasonal traffic accounts for much of Coney Island's economy, there is another Coney Island as well. This is the Coney Island made of Black and Latino families, of Italian and Jewish small business owners who built storefronts here decades ago. The Coney Island of Russian, Ukrainian, Caribbean, Central Asian, and South Asian neighbors who are now pray, shop, and build their lives along Mermaid Avenue.
The mayor says the new business improvement district would bring supplemental sanitation, marketing, and business support to the neighborhood ahead of this summer's season. Fatal gun violence Saturday morning in Laurelton, Queens. Police say 31-year-old Dominic Lowry of St. Albans, Queens, was shot on the street near a laundromat just after 8:30 Saturday morning. He later died at a local hospital. No arrests yet, and nothing on a possible suspect. Now this message. Injured? Call Spector and Associates, injury attorneys. 800-318-8888. Again, that's 800-318-8888. We have 38 degrees right now in Midtown. Traffic and the full AccuWeather forecast coming up next. Coming up, ICE agents heading out of Minneapolis. We'll tell you about that, but first, Wins News Time, 7:11. Let's get you where you need to go with Jeff Jensen.
It's a rough ride at Hudson River. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. 45 minutes to an hour to get into the city at the George Washington Bridge. There's a car fire under the apartments. It's coming off the lower level, but it looks like they might have a lane. They had 2 lanes blocked on the upper. Might still be the case. So all jammed up from all the different approaches to the bridge. Outbound 15 to 20, really busy off the North Van Deegen trying to get to the Cross Bronx. The Lincoln Tunnel is a great option if you're headed into Midtown. Only about a 15-minute wait. Outbound's not bad. If you're headed downtown, try the Holland Tunnel. That only has a delay of about 10 to 15 coming off a covered roadway. The Newark Bay Extension approach is much better. And outbound Holland down to a delay of about 10 minutes or so. Not bad at the East River crossings. A little slow into Midtown using the 59th Street Bridge. Accident delays in Brooklyn. Slow on the eastbound BQE approaching Flushing Avenue with a crash being cleared. And some westbound delays there from about Kent and Wythe Avenues down to the Brooklyn Bridge. And as you travel in Queens, watch for some slowdowns on the northbound Van Wert. Pretty busy from the Belt up to Atlantic Avenue. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. This is where things get good on the Big Three. No issues on the LIE. No problems on the Northern State or the Southern State Parkway on this Sunday evening. Jeff Jensen, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Let's get a check of the AccuWeather forecast now with meteorologist John Feerick.
We'll have a mix of rain and wet snow across the area early tonight. It becomes all snow before tapering off by daybreak. We'll have a coating to an inch of accumulation for Manhattan, the Bronx areas to the north and west. 1 to as much as 3 inches for central Jersey, over through Staten Island, Brooklyn, and Queens, and along the South Shore, Long Island, with some slushy, slippery travel as we dip back into the low 30s. There could be some slippery spots for the morning commute. Clouds give us some sunshine for tomorrow. Highs into the low 40s. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night, low 34. Then partly sunny nights for Tuesday, high 48. Some rain comes in Wednesday, high 43. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist John Feerick on New York's weather station, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM.
White House border czar Tom Homan says more than 1,000 ICE agents have left the Twin Cities and hundreds more will depart in the days ahead, but they are not leaving completely.
There will be a small force, a security force, what we call RFQs, that will, our security forces that will respond to when our agents are out and they get surrounded by agitators and things got out of control.
He made his comments on CBS's Face the Nation. Iran's top diplomat is headed to Geneva. Iran state TV says that's where a second round of nuclear talks with the U.S. will take place. Meanwhile, Israel's prime minister says any deal between the U.S. and Iran must involve the removal of all enriched uranium from Iran.
Speaking to the Conference of Presidents of Major Jewish Organizations in Jerusalem, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that any agreement between the U.S. and Iran must include several elements. All enriched material must leave Iran, he said. In addition, there should be no enrichment capability. Lastly, Netanyahu said the issue of ballistic missiles must be resolved.
It's correspondent Linda Gradstein reporting from Jerusalem. Warner Brothers Discovery is reportedly considering reopening sale talks with the rival Hollywood studio Paramount Skydance, which owns CBS. Bloomberg is reporting that the Warner Brothers board is considering whether an amended offer from Paramount could lead to a better deal. There's also a possibility that it may lead to a second bidding war with Netflix. Warner Brothers still has a binding agreement with Netflix. At the Olympics this weekend,
the men's hockey team defeating Denmark in the second preliminary game, maintaining their winning streak, while 21-year-old speed skating phenom Jordan Stolz secured a second gold medal in these winter games, this time in the men's 500-meter race, setting a new Olympic record with a blistering time of 33.77 seconds.
To finally be able to win, 2 gold medals in front of, my mom and my dad and my sister, I think they were really hoping for me to do well, and I'm glad I could do it.
It's correspondent Marcus Moore. Also this weekend at the Olympics, Michaela Schifrin, the great U.S. skier, finished off the podium in the giant slalom. Speaking of great skiers, Lindsey Vonn is getting set to return home. She's already had multiple surgeries in Italy to repair a complex tibia fracture in her left leg, the result of her crash early on in the Olympics in the downhill. She's facing more surgeries when she's back in the U.S. Her appearance at the Olympics was already a huge story because she had only recently torn an ACL, and still she was competing, and then came the crash. She took to Instagram yesterday and posted, quote, "I knew what I was doing. I chose to take a risk. Every skier in that starting gate took the same risk because even if you are the strongest person in the world, the mountain always holds the cards." Social media has been ablaze, shall we say, with people deploying common household items to mimic what the world's top curlers are doing at the Olympics.
In one online video, 2 adults in jackets push a baby in a car seat across the ice, chest bumping in glee. In another, popular Swedish comedian Måns Möller dons a wig and slides pans into other pans, screaming, "Curl!" Italians push a silver pot along a stony courtyard, sweeping with broomsticks. At a hair salon in the Swedish city of Sundsvall, a stylist hurls hair products toward her colleague. She screams, "Curl!" and looks frustrated when the colleague approaches with a, wait for it, curling iron.
Nicely done. That's correspondent Chuck Sievertson. From Rockefeller Center to Forest Hills Stadium, we are New York's all-news station.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good evening. It's 36 degrees at 7:20. I'm Bud Mishkin. Here's what's happening. Looking at a little bit of snow tonight. We'll have AccuWeather coming up. Hit and run in East Williamsburg. The victim is in critical condition. President Trump's Board of Peace for Gaza is scheduled to meet Thursday. Department of Justice sends Congress a letter with the names of people named in the Epstein files. The list includes presidents, cultural icons, business leaders, and government officials. And a New York pizzeria beats out Italy in the 2026 global ranking. Likely for pizza, best pizza. Very interesting. Sports, the NBA All-Star Game in a new format is going on right now. The Winter Olympics continue over the weekend. Michaela Schifrin finishing off the podium in the giant slalom. Wins News Time, 7:21. Let's get you where you need to go. Jeff Jensen.
It's awful crossing the Hudson River. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. The GWB, there's a car fire under the apartments. Now, coming off the upper level, 2 right lanes blocked. Coming off the lower level, the 2 left lanes are blocked. And you've got a delay of about an hour from each level trying to get into the city. Then that delays off 95. It's just as bad off 46 and Route 4 and the Palisades Parkway. Outbound, about 20 minutes or so, especially busy off the northbound side of the Major D. And if you're headed into Midtown, take the Lincoln. If you're headed into downtown, try the Holland Tunnel. They're both doing pretty well into the city. Outbound, about 15 at the Lincoln. No trouble outbound at the Holland Tunnel. In New Jersey, in lovely Rutherford, westbound Route 3, not so lovely, right by Park Avenue, 2 right lanes are blocked. That's an accident being cleared. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big 3. A decent ride for you right now on the LAE. The northern state and southern are all moving well. Starting today and going until